The government just changed the EC rules last Friday.
Yes. Cooling measures for EC.
As we all know, the past few ECs has been selling out, and the government is stepping in now to curb flipping and also prevent the price from going higher and higher.
Yeah.
And that's the main job of HDB government, is to make sure HDB, BTO
Stays affordable.
as well as EC stays affordable so that first timer has a chance to purchase them. So the main reason why government is stepping in right now is because the average price of an EC has already achieved 1,008 PSF
On average.
on average.
Yes.
Even Revel,
2052, the
2052.
highest transaction.
so it's inching very closely to a private price. And also for the recent 4-5 years, the first timer were 50 and 50%. But in the recent launches, we do notice that the first timer are only 30 to 40%. The second timer is majority of the buyer. And usually when the 1 month priority period is over, right, second timers come in and wipe out the entire stock because they have more buying power once they sell their HDB.
So one example, you can see the latest, one of the newer EC that has reached the MOP in 2024. So since then, the transactions, we have seen very good profits for the owners. You can see that 3 bedrooms, close to 1 million profit. And then for the 4 and 5 bedrooms, 1.5 million profits. That is a very significant gain for EC owners.
And I think it's even better than the private.
So we can see, we can compare the average. They are on average about 1.9 thousand PSF versus nearby new launch, private new launch Affinity at Serangoon and the Florence, right? Also 1,900 plus on average. And this is 5 years older project. Like they are 5 years old, already on par with private condo.
They just need to sell at what the other private condos are currently selling or even below.
And these are newer.
Yeah,
So that's also the reason why the government see the need to do something about this.
the recent past few ECs, we do meet a lot of buyers. They come with the mindset that I'm going to make a lot of profit based on all these. So we see buyers coming in, second timers buyer, coming in and have some parent support to help them, because the 16,000 loan can only get about 1 million. So if you buy a 1.6 million, you need to have 600,000 cash and CPF. So we do see a lot of parents willing to invest in the purchase as well, because they do see the data of birth to
we
quite
can
well.
make from it.
Of course, right now, government also know this.
Yeah.
They need to step in to
Yes.
manage this flipping from all these investors.
Yeah. So
They need to cater to first-time buyers.
So usually they have the mindset that after 5 years, I will sell. And then it's 5 years old, so the demand is quite high for own
Very
stay
speculative,
buyers.
and government
Yes.
doesn't want this speculative.
They want to make it such that EC stays affordable for own stay purpose.
So the main 3 changes are the MOP change from 5 years to 10 years, very
Yes.
similar to the Plus and Prime model of BTO.
Correct.
Used to be just 5 years, but there is a 10 years now. The removal of Deferred Payment Scheme. Deferred Payment Scheme was only for EC. Private condo don't have this scheme. So now this is also removed. We'll explain why this is removed, and also the priority for first-time buyers.
Because first timer, previously we have a quota of 70% for the first month. But then now the change is it will become 90%. Quota will be reserved for the first timer, and then there will be a lock-in period of 2 years. In these 2 years, the priority is for the first timer to buy 90% of it.
So this changes quite a bit. The past before this 70 and 30, it was actually 95% for first timer. So over the years, this has changed before. Government will see the market condition and also see the demand, then they'll make changes. So right now, they want to cater to a lot more first-time buyers. So that's why they're changing it back from 70-30 to 90-10.
I want to make sure that the first timer will have a chance to buy. So this is just to explain that for the EC side, so before 8th of May, it will still be the old rules. That means MOP is 5 years. And then after that, 10 years, it will be fully privatized. So you can sell to anyone. Before that, after 5 years, you can sell to Singapore citizen or PR. So when the new rule kick in, the MOP will be 10 years. So fully privatized will be 15 years later.
Right. So the first launch, there are already 5 land bids that are already closed. Those 5 are not affected by these new policies because it's only for land sale on or after 8 May. And the first land sale to come is the one at Canberra Drive. So that it's opening up for tender from May onwards. I'm not too sure when it's going to close. But once it closes, definitely it's going to launch 15 months after. So 15 months after, it's going to be around 2028. And most of the time we see right now is a 3 years construction period. So estimated will be 2031 TOP. So because of the 10 years MOP right now, the MOP will be from 2041 onwards. So only from 2041, then you can start selling your place to either upgrade or to downgrade from there. So there'll be a 10 plus 3 years, 13 years.
13 years.
This whole timeline will be 13 years.
So a bit on the deferred payment scheme.
So the next change will be the deferred payment scheme. In the past, so this is now removed. In the past, you just need to pay 20% of the purchase price and you can defer all the rest until TOP. For the next 3 years, you don't need to pay anything. Which means if I'm a second timer buyer, I own a HDB right now, right? I'm paying the loan right now. So if I pay 20% of this EC, I don't need to pay the EC loan every month. I just need to service one loan.
HDB loan.
Or you pay the 20% in cash, you don't need to take a loan right now. Which means that the income ceiling is 16,000. So let's say after 3 years nearing TOP, my pay increase to 20K. The loan will be based on the 20K. Means you can loan more. So right now, because of this removal, the buyers will have to go for normal payment scheme, which means it's the progressive payment.
The one for private condo, private new launch.
So first timer have to pay normal payment scheme, the progressive payment. The 10% second timer will have to service 2 loans at the same time. Because they are having a HDB right now and they bought the EC, they have to pay both at the same time.
So this is a table to show how the normal payment scheme looks like. Because it's under construction, you will need to pay according to the stages of the construction. So at the beginning, when it's just foundation, it will be about $200+
for 6 to 9 months.
So progressively up to the TOP. So this is the normal payment scheme. It's
same as private condo.
It's progressive. It's not actually a lot at the beginning.
Your CPF OA is enough to pay off.
But of course, if you have an existing loan, then it's like you will have 2 loans at the same time.
So you have to consider this when you're buying, because they have removed the deferred payment, means you'll be servicing 2 loans at the same time.
So this one is to show the first timer quota, the changes. Previously 70% reserved for the first timer, now changed to 90%. And then the second timer from 30% changed to 10%. The most recent launches, EC launches and Orel, they're all fully sold. So we can see that time, right, in March 2026, there is a 1 month priority period for the first timer. So after that 1 month, right, the EC become fully sold already. So
they open up, there's no priority anymore. They open up for everyone. So the moment they open up for everyone, all the second timer came in
they fully sold.
So right now, the new policies, it will be 2 years. So 2 years, which means that the first launch, as I mentioned, is in Jan 2028, right? For example, which means the first 10% will be for second timer. The moment the 10% has been taken up, any second timer will have to wait 2 years, which is in Jan 2030 before they can buy.
And it will depends on whether there are still stocks left.
Right.
Because 2 years time, the first timer can slowly
save up,
ready to buy. So by that time, 2 years later, it really depends whether
still stock
remaining
left.
stocks.
Maybe by end of 2029, all the stock are all wiped out by the first time. We never know. Depends on the launch price. And also, developer might even price it higher based on the market price also. For example, 2028 they might launch at this price. But closer to 2030, they might even launch it higher. Because it's closer to TOP. Usually for any new launch that is closer to TOP, we see a slow price increment based on the current market price. Of course, when the market price go higher, developer also want to sell higher to also tap on the demand. So we take a recent EC launch, Revel, which was in Tampines. There is 572 units. So the old policy 30%, there are 171 units available for second timer. And this 171 was taken up by, I think, 2 p.m. that day. Were all wiped out already. So a lot of people at the show fair were asked to go home already. There were a lot of second timers in the queue.
Quota filled.
They were announcing last 10 units, last 5 units. So after 1 month, because the old policy is 1 month, right? After 1 month, there were remaining 61 units. So 61 units open up, also wipe out within the first few hours by second timers. Majority are second timers. Because we do not know whether it's first or second. But because the first month was reserved for the first timer. So we can definitely assume that after the 1 month, these 61 units were all taken up by second timer.
So a lot of second timers, they are waiting.
You were waiting for this door to open for.
it-
So this 171 second timer plus this 61, there were estimated 232 second timer for this reval. If we were to use the new regulation of 10%, there are actually only 57 units available. So if we use this 232 minus 57 units available, there will be 175 buyers that have to wait for 2 years before they can come in to buy what's left. So within these 2 years, there will be buyers who they need to move soon for school, to be nearer to family or nearer to their workplace. So definitely it's 175,
They will have nothing to buy.
nothing to buy, or they have to wait for 2 years, they might not wait.
So they might look for alternative really.
Alternative would definitely be the resale market because they can move in seamlessly, or they might even consider the new launch. New launch that are close to EC pricing. Like we see Tengah was very close to EC price and it got wiped out. Like
99% sold.
only
on
6
launch
units
day.
left. So that's the main reason why all these launches are wiping out, because they are launched very near the EC and they only have 4 years SSD.
And the financing part, TDSR also.
They can loan more compared to EC.
So previously, second timer, usually they are HDB upgraders lah. So they have these options on hand. Either they will go for new launch or resale. So for new launch, they can either choose private or EC. So of course, EC are priced more attractively. There are of course criteria to meet. But of course,
Also,
the gains is also very attractive.
based on the
lah.
past data.
So either these two method, or they can go for resale. Resale will be faster and they can move in straight away lah. Also private or MOP ECs.
After 5 years.
But now, right, now after 2027, which is when the new policy, the EC policy kicks in, right? This portion, the new launch EC, right, for the second timer, definitely
Supply
there
drop.
will be a huge drop in the supply because of the 10% and the 2 years wait. So the other options, we will expect to see higher demand.
Definitely, because for example, for me, I have 2 kids. If I can't get any of this 10% EC and I need to move because out of school or nearer to my in-laws, I will start to consider this.
They can't wait for 2 years.
This or this. I can't wait for 2 years. So
Yes.
we will see a demand shift because of this low supply here. TV upgraders will start moving towards this for private new launch, or if they want a seamless transition to somewhere, because you have kids and helper and a lot of things, right? You can't be renting also, a bit inconvenience. So they'll start looking at resale. And projects that are very close to EC price are of course the EC or lower quantum, or even private that are very close to EC pricing.
Maybe in the outskirts, OCR, or some older projects.
So for this demand shift of the HDB upgraders, right now we do see the EC policy after announcement. You see the Costa Cabana started to sell already. The moment the EC announcement came out, buyers are already starting to go whatever that's currently left. Because Costa Cabana at Pasir is the only EC with current stock. Rest of the EC are all fully sold. So they're looking at current stock and also looking at current new launches that are very close to EC pricing. There are a few. So under this new regulation I mentioned before, their MOP will only come in from 2041 onwards. But there will be a few ECs, all these ECs will start to MOP, coming into resale market from 2028 all the way until 2035. So they are coming into resale market.
These are still 5 years MOP.
So of course the H upgraders will first consider something that is newer,
So then-
good option to consider. And if you see here, from 2035 all the way to 2041, this gap, there will not be any newly MOP ECs. So when these stocks are taken out or no one is selling, they will start looking at private resale or new launches. Which means because of this lack of supply between these two periods, we expect a high demand to go into private. And whenever there's a high demand, the
Will go
price
up.
will definitely go
Yes.
up.
Like
Demand and
that.
supply lah.
These are the remaining 5 ECs that will not be affected by the new policy. So Senja Close, Woodlands Drive, there are 2 Woodlands Drive 17, Sembawang Road and Miltonia Close. So we will expect second timers to really come in from here because still 30% quota for
The
them. Also, we only lock for 1 month, and then after that they are free to buy whatever that's remaining in the market lah. And then there are 2 confirmed sites, EC sites, Canberra Drive and then Sembawang Drive. These 2 will be affected by the new policy already. So the stock is not much left. I think over here is about 1,900 over units.
You will expect the second timers will definitely go and try all these projects.
Correct.
So we do expect a high demand.
Last chance.
A last chance
for
before
them.
the new policy kicks in. So these are the first two ECs with the new policies, which is opening out for tender in May and in June. That's why after they close the tender, they have to wait for 15 months before they can start selling. And that will be in 2028. So these two will be the first two to be affected. So developer will be very careful in these two land bid.
It's interesting. We're going to see how developer will bid for these two.
It's going to be quite interesting because developer cannot be bidding the same land price as before.
They need to think more for the first timer already.
Make it affordable.
Because first time buying a house, their budget might not be so big.
In your 20s, your CPF is still building
Correct. And with the income ceiling
of 16,000
and the MSR, you can only loan 30% of your income.
Which is maximum. 16,000 is only 1 mil loan.
So the remaining you have to pay by cash.
By cash or CPF. So we do expect developer to be very careful with the land bids for these two upcoming land bids.
Yeah.
They will need to bid carefully so that they can price the EC very attractively. 90% of first timer. If they don't sell very well during launch, they can't be waiting for 2 years for second timer to come in. There will be some funding issues.
Because they still need to progressively build the site.
Correct.
The project.
They need to also loan from the bank. So they need to have hit certain sale in order to get that loan. So that'll be quite interesting. I feel this new policy change mainly is very good for first timer. But the biggest impact will be on developer. Because in the past, they are all like buying and selling very well, almost immediately. So right now, in the long term, for this new policy, we do expect developer to be very careful with the future land bids. And because of these lower land bids, potential lower land bids, we should see a repricing of EC, a lower, a more attractive price.
The curve will go down.
They need to manage the affordability. So you might see a price coming down for the ECs. And in the short term, the existing EC stock is going to be very valuable. Costa Cabana right now and the next 5 are going to be very valuable for second timers. They will be very ready to buy this 5. If not,
no more chance.
They will either have to, let's say, a 4-room and they need a bigger space, they will consider a 5-room HDB. Or if a 5-room and need additional bedroom, they will consider a private 4-bedder. So we do expect a very high demand for these next few. So these are the 5, the Senja Woodlands. We can expect the launch price to be around 1,008 PSF.
Starting from?
Because of the land bid lah. Because this val was at 768, launch around averagely 1893. So the next one with Senja will be around 1,008 also.
Yeah.
So we mentioned earlier about the TDSR. Based on the income ceiling of 16,000, which is 8,000, total 16,000. For MSR, you can only loan actually 1 mil. And for a TDSR with the same income, you could actually loan up to 1.85. That's why, for example, Tampines, there is no more upcoming ECs anymore. We couldn't find any more Tampines EC launch. So they are looking at private right now, and actually from the same income, they can actually loan more and buy up to 2.5. So they are considering the private resale or even the private new launches based on the same income. So we can expect this to happen because they are unable to get EC, they will consider other options.
So for second timers, if they miss the chance of the ECs, they will definitely think of private. So for private new launches, there are still some opportunities out there. For example, Lentor Gardens.
Tengah is gone.
Tengah is gone already, 99% sold, left 6 units.
So of the bigger 4-bedder.
And then Dairy Farm and Chincharu.
Yishun.
Because all these, the land price are still relatively low. So we will expect them to be priced more close to the EC price lah. So will be considered still quite affordable. And also Hudson.
Now Hudson.
Yes.
In the RCR region, they are the lowest.
So this one we will expect the
Quite
second timers, they consider all these. Even Nara also still have a lot of stocks left, right? Yes. We can see, right, with this curve, right, the average new launch is about 1,890 PSF. So for the OCR new launch, private new launch, average price has reached 2,004 PSF. And for RCR new launch, average is 2,007 PSF. But there are actually some projects out there that is offering lower than the average of the OCR region or the RCR region. So like Canberra Crescent, their lowest is 1,900 PSF. Nara is about 2,000. Alta 2001. Like even RCR, there are also some options out there, like the Sense 2002 PSF, even like Continuum Freehold 2006 PSF. They are all lower than the average. So these are options that second timers or people who feel that they might not want to risk waiting for EC, they can actually consider all these options. Private new launches. These are all projects that are already launched, post-launch projects. So they can consider all.
You will DOP soon. Then because of private is only a 4 years SSD period.
More flexible.
Instead of waiting for the first EC to come, because it could potentially be cheaper, attractive, right? But as a HDB upgrader, a second timer, if you are not the 10%, then you will end up only to consider alternative, then the price will be at a higher price point already.
Because demand will go up, then will drive up the price as well.
People will start flowing out. So it's important to act early right now, because knowing is important. You can act early before the price starts to go up higher because of the demand shift. So in summary, we do expect an increase in private property pricing because of the ECs being prioritized for first timer. HDB upgraders with the profit from BTO, higher buying power, they will start looking at private, either the new launch or the resale. And right now, there are a lot of news about the BTO supply. I think exceeding 55,000 BTO from now till 2027. And there's going to be a lot of MOP also in the next 3 to 4 years.
This year about 13,000 MOP.
And sales of balance also, the recent sales of balance, I think quite a big number. So with all this high supply, they are trying very hard to stable the HDB price. And we have seen it last quarter 0%. This current quarter, negative 0.1. The HDB price has already stabilized. We don't foresee the HDB price to go up higher. And it's a good time to consider, if you were consider to upgrade, it's a good time to consider. Because now you can sell it high and buying a property low. Because there are higher land bids right now. We have seen the higher land bids. We know places like, for example, Lentor, recent land bid at 2004, which means they need to launch around 2006, 2007. We know that the upcoming private next year, the year after, are of higher land bids, which means they will launch much higher. So buying right now, whatever that's available on the current market, will be a very safe entry point. And there are also an increasing number of citizens every year becoming PR, and PR becoming new citizens. So once they become PR and new citizens, they are considering to buy their own home. Because PR only 5% ABSD. Once they become Singaporean, there's no ABSD. So we are starting to see a lot of new citizens coming in to buy new launches, resale for their own stay. They are here to stay for long, and they are working here with their family or in Singapore. So we expect demands to be coming from all here, and also the increment of population from 6.11 to 6.9 by 2030. There will be an increase in population. With the increase in population, they need somewhere to stay.
New homes.
They need to buy. That is the main reason why there are a lot of land bids. And the whole Singapore, there are a lot of areas not open up for sale yet. It's already zoned residential because government is getting ready to meet this demand. It's important to act now because you're buying low, and because of the potential private property price increasing, you are able to sell high. So it's a good time to consider this if you want to upgrade or even to buy the next 5 EC plots. You need to sit down to consider whether what is your next move.
You need to start planning now.
Don't wait until you fail to get a unit, then you think about what's available. Might be a bit too late because the price will then be higher.
So that's all from us today about the EC policy.
Can scan a QR code, contact us if you want to find out a bit more. We will share more why we think property price is going to go up and explain into detail why this will happen because of new EC. The new EC is just not plainly because first time buyer will have priority. It's going to affect the other market as well. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.